Sweet. As I cough. Go ahead. Jason?
Oh, sorry. I had the I forgot to mute the stream coming from Twitch, so I was hearing the music. Anyway,
The
I was waiting
delayed
for the
music.
yeah, I was waiting for the music to stop.
Right.
Anyway,
I
as
actually
we
haven't muted it
stumble and
either.
fall on our faces at the beginning of this podcast,
We're
you should
professionals.
be you should not be surprised in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, let's see. This is episode 165, part B. Don't pay attention to what Twitch is saying. I don't know how many times I tried to tell Twitch that we are on episode 165, part B. Rhett even tried it, and every time we did, it just said error editing status. So that is gonna be what you can see from here. So we have 165 part B. We're going to be going over video games that are coming out this week. I may dip into movies that are coming out this week. We'll see. That being said, anything new?
Well, first things first. The audio for 164B and 165A does exist. Chance, who's been harassing me. I so I've been really late on it, partially from just having been busy this week and partially from just being super depressed. So it's super my fault that I haven't gotten the audio out. However, the audio, when I finally did get to it, is super messed up. So Jason's going to have to pull it from YouTube.
Yep, and I will get that done tonight and get it stripped out and put up tomorrow. So
in order to get it. So that explains where that came from. It was supposed to be away. Oh, there we go. I am playing this War of Mine, which we've talked about in the past.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I played this, so if I suck at it, I don't know what to tell you. In addition to this, I've still been playing Unity, and I played a lot of Unity. And I beat Unity. And I maxed out the achievements in Unity, or the trophies. So,
okay.
This might be a false start where I try this game, but I do really bad at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did sink a bunch of time into it, and then I got really super interested in the French Revolution. So I went and found a book. It's called Citizens. It's about the French Revolution. It's actually very good. I quite enjoy the book so far. In addition to this, I finally finished Uncharted 4, and it was fantastic. Uncharted 4 was just a great game. Lots of fun. Really enjoyed it. Look forward to getting back to it. Chance is actually, though we don't have an email from him, Chance has actually been playing... what is it? This stupid plane game that came out.
Plane game?
You know, space game, exploration, whatever.
Oh, No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No Man's
That
Sky.
one?
Chance has been playing it, and he hated it. Right out the gate, he's like, I hate this game, it's boring. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, well, I've been looking into, trying it out myself. If you don't like it, maybe I'll buy it from you for obviously less than full price it would be.
Right.
He's like, yeah, maybe I'll do that. But it seems like he's finally gotten back into it.
Okay.
Like, he's been playing it recently, and he's like, oh, this is really good. From the internet stuff that I've seen about No Man's Sky, from what I've read, it's a lot more like a Minecraft than it is like a exploration shooter space game.
Yeah.
Where you basically do a lot of crafting, and you do a lot of resource gathering and all of those things. And you slowly upgrade yourself over time as you do more and more things. And if that's not what you're into, you will not like No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I read I know you're not a big fan of Control Alt Delete for various reasons. I read their one of his comics recently, and it sounds like he played No Man's Sky, and he said there are a couple things that he said. One thing was that it's going to get boring real fast, in his
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah. There's basically no story. So much like Minecraft, you sort of have to make your own story. You have to explore and find your own fun,
Hmm.
as opposed to rely on the game. But go ahead, sorry.
No, no, that's exactly what it was. It was this is going to get real boring real fast, and there's he says that for now he sits down and it's just a really relaxing game. It's the most relaxed game he's ever played because it's just there's no threat at all. I mean, even if you're on a planet and you're nowhere near where you can recharge your spacesuit or your ship or whatever, the planet's literally covered with resources, and so he doesn't feel pressed or rushed or any of that. He's just like, oh, this is, and like I said, according to him, he's like, yeah, this is going to get real boring real fast, and I'm going to drop it. But that's one of the things that I was concerned about with No Man's Sky when I heard about it coming out was that it just didn't catch my attention at all. You know what I mean? It's like normally a game, even if it's a bad game, it catches my attention because it's bad. It's like, oh, this game is gonna really suck. This one, it was just like, eh, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it looked fun to me. I think people well overhyped that game, where they're
Oh,
like,
it looked beautiful.
this is gonna solve cancer, this is gonna fix everything.
Uh-huh.
When none of that was gonna be the case,
Right.
not even a little bit. This will not solve cancer. This will not change the world. If you're into a game, what No Man's Sky does really well is it gives you that sense of awe and exploration and the opportunity to explore and do things. All of those things it does really well. What it doesn't do well is the essential sort of like it doesn't have a good combat system. Space combat's not good. Crafting's sort of minimal to the crafting's sort of infantile,
Right.
and a lot of it's just sort of time wasting, where you just have to spend a lot of time doing things when you don't really, you know what I mean, when it feels
Right.
unnecessary. Um, it sounds like a big time sink, but if that's what you're looking forward to, then by all means, this is the game for you.
Yeah. Seriously. I mean, the game. The only thing about the game that attracted me so far was that it looked beautiful.
Yeah,
So
it's a really good looking game.
yeah. But other than that, I have not been impressed with what I've seen. It's just yeah.
It has had huge amounts of connection technical issues on the console, and a
Uh-huh.
massive amount of technical issues on the PC. It is almost broken on the PC. It has had a lot of problems, which is
What
unfortunate because this is that game that was supposed to cure
the
you
common
know,
cold.
do
So
everything that people were making death threats because the game wasn't out yet. I mean, it was everything and everything to everybody.
what have
It
we
was supposed
told
to
you,
change the world.
developers? What have we told you from day one? Make sure the game works before you push it out the door.
You forget, Jason, that we are the beta testers. That's just what we are. That's what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, despite reading about the French Revolution, completely maxing out the trophies on Unity, and beating Uncharted 4 today, I did a bunch of working out today. I do not care for the heat, and if I'm working out outside and stuff, but I went up in the barn and was hitting the bag and doing lots of push-ups, and man, did it kick my butt. I've already got that like coffee throat thing right now, which I'm
Yeah,
not
you're
sick, but I can feel it.
You're raspy because you've been breathing so hard. It's just
Essentially,
rubbed your
that's what
throat
it
raw.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but what can you do?
Stop doing push-ups, evidently.
Never.
What
Um, it's the first night.
was that?
I'm just looking at stuff.
Oh, gotcha,
It's been a while since I played this game, so I might suck at it. But
gotcha.
anyway, that's pretty much my week. Uh, Uncharted 4 is fantastic. If you're looking for fun, that is a game to play.
All right.
It is a lot of fun, and it's that basic fun that everybody looks for, that video games should be. It's just a lot of fun. Sometimes video games get too sort of up their own butts
Yeah,
when it comes to trying to be really serious and
they're trying to be
be
so
everything
serious
to
about
everybody. And, yeah. Uncharted 4 is just fun. It's a really fun game. Naughty Dog knows how to play games. Or make games. I assume they know how to play them, otherwise they
wouldn't do so well at making them.
yeah, I mean, currently I'm downloading, because I have Xbox Live and it's the free game this month, WWE 2K16. So I plan on making the greatest wrestler of all time and running around and winning everything.
Nice.
I look forward to it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
All right. So, couple things. I know that this will, Chance will turn his ears off. I started a new book recently. And the reason I bring this up is not because I want Chance to go into a coma and, crash or something while he's driving, but because I think you might like it. It's called Legend of the Nameless Dwarf.
He doesn't have a name, you guys.
Yeah, what it is it's got some of the themes that Gotrek and Felix had. What happened was, in the past, the dwarves were tricked into almost unmaking creation, and so they've exiled themselves from the rest of civilization. So they live by themselves. They've cut themselves off from anyone around them. And as in the early days of this exile, they came up with a way to basically get rid of the people, the undesirables, without really getting rid of them. Basically, they have a way of erasing your name from history, from everything. So far, I think I know which dwarf's name is getting erased. He hasn't come across that particular. He has to do something so bad that they have to erase his name. And so whatever that's going to be hasn't happened yet. But it sounds like what's going to happen is he'll have his name erased. He becomes the Nameless Dwarf. And then instead of him becoming like a slayer and trying to atone for some, past misdeed or whatever, instead, he's the only one that has the skill set that they need to accomplish this suicide mission or whatever. So they have to go and get him and recruit him to save the dwarves, kind of thing. So, I mean, so far it sounds... I like where it's going. It's kind of got the dwarves were once a more powerful race, and now they've lost some of their ability to... some of the abilities and technologies from the past, they don't know how they don't know how to do that stuff anymore, and they've cut, like I said, they've cut themselves off from the rest of the world just so that they can no longer be tricked again, because they were, like I said, at one point they in the past, sometime in the past, they were somehow tricked into almost unmaking creation. So, however that came about, I don't know yet, but I'll see. Like I said, so far it's pretty good. I like it. It's got quite a bit of action in it so far. Um, uh, a little bit of magic, not too much at the moment. Um, but like I said, it seems pretty interesting. I thought that it might interest you. Um,
Sounds interesting.
Other than that, been playing more Saints Row the Third, um, trying to max out the collectibles. I guess not collectibles, unlockables. Um, I usually just go into a place. I drive my tank in somewhere and just start blasting away until I get a whole bunch of people coming, and then I uh, get them to swarm me, keep blasting away until I level up some respect, and uh, then I take off. Well, then they usually I end up getting mobbed by so many people that they wipe me out, and then I respawn. But so far, like I said, like I've said before, Saints Row the Third so far has been a lot of fun. It just Saints Row 2. I know a lot of people got down on Saints Row 2 for being just a kind of a copy of um, Grand Theft Auto, but I enjoyed Saints Row 2 quite a bit, and I'm enjoying Saints Row the Third even more. It just went off the charts ridiculous. Um, you can drive a tank downtown, and it's so funny when you're driving a tank downtown. People will get out of their cars and run away from you, but they'll run into the center of the road, which I'm trying to drive down. And of course, they're not faster. They're
That's
not
a
running
long
faster than the
running
tank.
plaguing problem that games have had, especially open world games where you'd be driving. What? Remember when me and you would play a bunch of LA Noir?
Uh huh. Right, right. You're
And
driving down the
you'd be
road.
trying to follow traffic and stuff, and like cars would not be stopping when they should be, and you just be hitting other people.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, we got to get there really quickly. Let's hit every single person on our way there. What? You're not supposed to do that? Oh,
Well, if you hit too many people, then the police come and attack you. Um, which then brings out, I mean, it gets really ridiculous. So you start out with, you kill, let's say you accidentally run over somebody. If a police officer is close enough, they'll like flag you, and so you'll get notoriety, and the police will start coming. If you keep running over people and you keep like evading the police and things, then your notoriety keeps going up. Eventually, it's like they call out the National Guard just to hunt you down. And they'll send in attack choppers and tanks and military vehicles with, machine guns mounted on the roof. So you're not just like, having having to fight off the police or something. It gets really ridiculous. If you go after one of the gangs, what they'll start doing is, instead of sending in attack choppers and tanks, they send in what are called brutes. They're these guys that are just massive. It's like, the tank from Left 4 Dead. Not quite that big, but that kind of guy.
pretty bad.
Yeah, and so it's a good thing to have an automatic weapon or something that explodes when you're facing one of those things. Because they just are, yeah, they're massive and they're hard to take down. Um, Other than that, can't say that anything has been too out of the ordinary, and I just hope that I, can find something fun to do next week.
What do you mean next week?
Well, just I don't mean like I just mean something. Oh, well, actually, there was something else, but I'll go back to that.
A new game.
No, yeah, well, not necessarily a new game, but just continuance. Something fun that I haven't done before, and I can say something. So I know that I've talked to you about this. I don't remember if I said anything on the podcast, but I grew up watching Scooby Doo, and I really like Scooby Doo.
Okay.
And so recently we got a Redbox movie. It was like I think I'd have to look it up to find out exactly when it was, but a while ago they did a Scooby Doo WWE crossover.
They've done that more than once.
Right.
Didn't it have John Cena in it?
Yes, the first one had John Cena in it. It had Kane. It had The Miz. It had Triple H. It had Vince McMahon. It had a whole bunch of people. They recently did another one, and I watched it with my family. And this one had, let's see, it had Triple H in it again. It had Vince McMahon's daughter, because she's
Stephanie.
married to Stephanie. Thank you, because she's married to Triple H. It had the Gravedigger was in it.
Undertaker.
Thank you, Undertaker. Why was I thinking Gravedigger?
Undertakers can dig graves.
Yes, that's true. My kids asked me about that. I was like, well, Gravedigger, Undertaker, Anyway, I meant The Undertaker. The Undertaker is in it, and I'm trying to remember who else. The Miz is in it again, and I guess a girl named Paige. There's also Rusev and this lady,
Rusev.
and this Russian lady in white is in it.
Yeah,
and,
Rusev's lady or whatever.
Yeah, and there was Stardust and this other dude.
Stardust is a nutcase.
And this guy who is who's supposed to be Celtic.
It's not Finn Balor. He's Irish. He's got spiky red hair or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name off the top of my head. He's a big dude though.
I'm trying. Let's see.
He's really pale. That's sort of his gimmick. He's pale.
Let's see. I've got it. Okay, here we go. It's called Scooby Doo and the Curse of the Speed Demon, and it has let's see, Rusev, Paige, The Undertaker, Diego Fernando, and Sheamus.
Sheamus, that's his name.
Triple H, El Torito, Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon, and The Miz. Anyway, they don't really do wrestling in it because it's not that kind of movie. It's a cross. So it's Scooby-Doo WWE cross mixed with like monster trucks. So all of the wrestlers are paired up with other wrestlers and they're driving monster trucks.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah. In this like off-road race, I'm trying to see. There's also Stardust. And
Stardust is
Goldust.
Goldust is a nutcase too. Those are weird dudes.
And Dusty Rhodes is in it as well.
Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes is. I think is he alive?
It was his voice.
I'm super skeptical that he's alive, but all right.
I mean, he may have died since they made the movie, but they he died June 11th, 2015. But they credit him as being the voice
on the show.
On the show, yeah. So it was pretty ridiculous. And they end up, Dusty Rhodes and The Undertaker were teamed up driving, and then Dusty Rhodes like throws out his back, and so he can't continue competing. And so, of course, The Undertaker gets paired with Shaggy and Scooby.
Yeah, that's a good pair.
Yeah. And then
the Prince of Darkness with Shaggy and Scooby.
Yeah.
They're like, there's a ghost. And he's with us, running from ghosts.
Well, the thing is that they have this guy in this monster demon
Demon
truck.
truck.
Yeah, that comes out and trying to spoil the race and everything, and the Undertaker really takes it as like a personal insult, and so he's like, "This speed demon has dug his own grave," and
Is it actually the Undertaker doing the voice?
I would
I'm
have to double
curious.
check.
What's his name? Mark or whatever?
Mark Calloway.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I mean they
I
do.
figured Mark would have better things to do with his time.
Well, see, that's the thing that surprises me is that they actually, for the last two, for the other WWE one that they did, and this one, the Speed Demon, they actually went out and got the people um, who are the wrestlers to do their own voices. So Vince McMahon is in it. Stephanie McMahon is actually in it. It's not somebody, they didn't license the likeness. They actually got them on board.
You know, they have their own cartoon show, the WWE. It's called Camp WWE. And it's got all the different characters in the show. And they're at a camp. And it's actually made by Seth Green, who apparently loves wrestling. And they sort of did up everybody in their own character and changed everything up. It's sort of like a mature show. It seemed pretty goofy, though, from what I could tell. It seemed pretty entertaining.
So we watched this, and it was goofy and Scooby-Doo and all that stuff. But they actually added on to it. They added 2 episodes of Scooby-Doo shows. They've done two Scooby-Doo shows recently. One is Get a Clue Scooby-Doo. And that one, I think that one is no, it's not Get a Clue Scooby-Doo. That one, final episode 2008. What was the other one? Oh, it was Mystery Inc. That was what it's called. Mystery Incorporated. That one ended its run 2013, but right now they're doing another one called Be Cool Scooby-Doo, and it started in 2005 in October, so it's still going. And so they played this one episode. They put this one episode on the disc, and we watched it, and it was hilarious. Funniest Scooby-Doo episode I've ever seen.
Wow.
And I don't know about any of the rest of the Be Cool Scooby-Doo episodes if they're as funny, but this one was so funny. I just can't express to you how much we were laughing. My entire family. Velma's trying to get into this college that's super exclusive, and she's there with her friends. And Daphne, the entire time, is playing with hand puppets, and that she made that are the gang, and so she's. It was just bizarre and hilarious at the same time. It was awesome. Anyway, so we'll move on. We'll get into the video games, and Chance made some suggestions, and I'm always looking for suggestions on how to go through these. So we'll try to go through these a little bit quicker. So this one came out yesterday. It's called Interstellar Logistics Inc. What it is it's a physics-based game where you have to fire I wouldn't say it's not a projectile per se. It's a parcel, and you've got to get it from one end of the galaxy to the other. And you use the planets and stuff to curve the path and whatnot. And so if you're into the physics-based games, this one, the graphics are really simple, so don't expect too much on that. This is one of those action puzzle games, and some of it is pretty funny. If you you can accidentally hit planets and stuff with the package rather than slingshot them around the package, or slingshot the package around the planet. Um, nice bright colors too. So that one's a PC game, and as I said, that one actually came out yesterday. So that one's already out. Today we have quite a few coming out. We have at least 5, and these are the 5 that I put on here, and they're coming out on a variety of platforms. The first one is called Bank Limit Advanced Battle Racing. I mean, the name sounds really stupid. But think of it as like F-Zero, but revamped graphics. It's got the whole futuristic racing hover car kind of thing, kind of with Tron colors, but at the same time, this one's coming out for Rift, Vive, and PC. And so it looks like they're actually trying to, and maybe they're doing a good job with this one. I couldn't say. But what it sounds like they're trying to do with this one is make it so that you see, like when you turn your head, it turns the view, and then you have your controller that actually controls your movement. And so you have the ability to blow up your opponents with lasers, and you target them by moving your head. So this could be good, could be awful. I mean, it looks pretty spectacular. I would just like to play this game, not necessarily with the whole headset thing, the VR thing, but this racer does look really interesting. It looks a lot like that one that we used to play over at your place on the PS3.
Gosh dang it. Something HD.
Yeah, whatever that one was.
It wasn't. It's a really good racer, and it's one of the best racers on the console.
Yeah.
But me and you used to play it, and then we play against Vaughn, like, way out wherever
which was weird that, you could play against player. You could either do head-to-head there, local, but if you brought in another person, you couldn't do local co-op with the other person. You had to either do local co-op or online play. Anyway, so moving on, the next one this one's called Bound, and it's coming out for PS4. You may have seen some of this game. You have the PS4 and all that. There's a lot of dance in it, and I'm not entirely sure what to make of this. I don't know. I couldn't find story behind it other than it's like, we want you to like release your mind from the shackles of reality, man, kind of thing. But the dancer looks kind of like the character looks kind of like a cross between a ballet dancer and a character from Destiny. Mm-hmm. The world looks spectacular, and I mean the game looks just amazing. The movement of the main character is very fluid, and it looks like they did a lot of work with mocap in this just to get it to work. The music that I've seen from it is excellent, very well done. But at the same time, I can't tell you anything about this game other than it does look very beautiful. Other than that, it reminds me in some ways of No Man's Sky in the attractiveness of the graphics and things. But other than that, this really doesn't grab me, because I'm like, you're a dancer doing what? I assume there's a story behind it, because I read somewhere that there's like a princess and a monster and a queen and
all those things.
Yeah. But you should really, if nothing else, you should give the trailer a look, because the trailer makes it look amazing. With like, as your character moves, the environment moves around her, like the floors coming together, walls moving around. Like I said, the character, it moves very fluidly for what this looks like. And so to me, I think they spent quite a bit of time with mocap getting this to work the way that they wanted it to. Um, Other than that, I really can't help you. It's like I have no idea what you're. I read again. I read somewhere. I couldn't find a lot of information about it, but I read somewhere that there's like fighting involved somehow in the dancing. So anyway, it looks also like they mixed in some of that shooter game that was like the
It's called Bound.
yeah, Bound, Bound, and it's only coming out for PS4 that I can see. But like,
Yeah, it's one of those artsy games.
yeah, yeah, very artsy. Do you remember that first person shooter game where like the entire world was like black and white except for the enemies and the guns that were red?
Well, Limbo did that.
What right? Limbo did something like this one. What I meant is that there's kind of that style where you've got the polygons
Uh-huh.
um, rather than the stark. Because this game seems to have some of that where um, everything is made up of the polygons. Anyway, to move on, we have Death Stare. Now this one is a multiplayer game, and it does have an interesting game mechanic. It's 5-on-1, or excuse me, 4-on-1. It's a 5-player game with 4-on-1, up to 4-on-1. What it is you try to climb the stairs
I'm
while the guy
restarting. Don't judge me.
while the guy at the top has various unconventional ammo to knock you down the stairs. From the pictures that I see here on Steam, it looks like there's a witch trying to go up the stairs and a clown trying to go up the stairs, and they're being bashed by giant beach balls.
Of course they are.
So, and ragdoll physics. So, when you get hit with like a beach ball, evidently you ragdoll back down to the bottom.
That's what I do.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Um, if you're interested in smacking your friends around in a game, this one might interest you. As I said, it's got an interesting take on things. You have one person against the rest of the team trying to get up to the top of the stairs. Graphics look decent, so it doesn't look like it does look like it's 3D rather than like 2D, 2.5D, and you get to hit a mime with a giant beach ball. What's not to like?
Well, I gotta get this game then. Mimes are just the worst.
I know, and you get to hit this one you get to explode this one and hit it with giant beach balls. I mean, come on. The next one is called Grow Up.
No.
This one's coming out for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Whether or not it'll be any good, I don't know. Evidently, what you have is the main character is a robot, and the robot looks very blocky.
Oh, whoa.
The rest of the graphics, the environment looks pretty good. A lot of polygons again with this one, but evidently you're called Bud, and you're going along with Mom. Mom is your spaceship, and evidently Mom explodes somehow and ends up in pieces all over this moon, and you've got to collect all the pieces. And so there's a lot of physics involved with this one, because you've got to jump across and bounce across, and evidently you can roll into a ball and bounce and roll and get like a glider, helicopter type things to help you, and the environments look pretty crazy. So again, this is another action puzzle one, possibly a little bit more involved than Interstellar Logistics, and maybe a lot more entertaining in that as well. Moving on, the next one is coming out for PS4 and PC. This one's called Inverses. This one looks like it could be quite frustrating and quite entertaining. You take a you take the it's very simple as far as graphics go. Uh, it's black and white and no other colors than that. And your characters are basically just squares, and the entire board is made up of squares. The thing that makes this interesting is that a black player cannot move on a black square. The square has to be white, and a white player cannot move on a black square. And so you're shooting the beams that you shoot change the color of the squares, and that's how you destroy your enemy. You shoot and turn the color, the squares different colors to move around and things. And it looks like it could be quite like a lot of fun, like Nidhogg was, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Nidhogg's great. They've managed to, in the last how many years, smaller developers make very fun, sort of minor competitive games.
Yeah.
It sounds like this is one. Nidhogg was just brilliant. It
Yeah.
did everything you wanted it to do. It was just
And
fun.
this one is kind of, to me, kind of looks like it has that feel where you have the versus environment where it's me versus them, and you also have a bit of strategy going on here, where, like I said, you can actually shrink where they can move by changing the color of the squares, and then when you get them in boxed in, you can then destroy them. The next one is called Oklos, and this is for PC, Linux, and Mac. This one's coming out on the 18th, so a little later this week. This one looks interesting. The graphics are basically 8-bit, but it's 2.5D, and it looks a lot like Paper Mario in some ways. You know how it looked. You know, you had the background, and Paper Mario looked like he was a paper
Shift
cutout
from the
walking.
back to the foreground, and
Yeah, kind of like that. But this is, they've got the characters are like flat, like they're paper, but the environment is 3D, so it goes all the way in all directions. But what it is you play a Greek who's trying to take down the gods and various mythical creatures, and the way you do it is you incite a mob. So you go and you collect all these people around you to form a mob, and then you take the mob and you go attack the gods and the mythical creatures.
nice.
Yeah, and so you actually can get tons and tons of people to follow you around, and you just lay waste to everything. And then you go after the Minotaur and the Greek gods and the various monsters like the Sphinx, and I'm trying to see what else is here. They've got like these colossi that you're going after. One of those monsters that has the many heads, and
Cerberus?
no, the not the dog.
Hydra?
No, it's like a giant with a bunch of heads.
Manticore?
No,
I don't know.
I don't remember what they were called. Cyclops is in there, Harpy's in there, but it looks completely chaotic. Like I said, you get to lead around a mob and destroy everything in your path.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Almost like a god game, if you will.
Almost, but you're actually a normal person. It's almost like a God of War game where you're trying to take down the Greek pantheon.
Well, god game in a way of you control more than just yourself.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, anyway, it looks a little bit more chaotic. You control yourself and you incite the people around you to attack things as a mob. And so it doesn't look like you have a lot. Like once you've recruited them and they follow you, it doesn't look like you have a lot of. They stick around you, but they kind of attack on their own at that point. Moving on, we have August 19th. We have 3 games that are coming out that I want to talk about. One is F1 2016. This is a racing game for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Um, the graphics look really, really good. It looks like it's an F1 racer game. Uh, so I don't know how I
I've been looking for a really good, well, that I can afford, a really good modern racer. Like a current gen racer that's just a lot of fun.
well, this one looks very realistic as far as the cars go. I don't
And
know
I'm not a
how.
racing guy. I've just had that itch of like a really good looking graphics racer, and it's more just fun to drive the thing and look at the graphics than it is to be really competitive. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Well, this one looks really good. I mean, the graphics look really well done. The cars look like I said, the cars look amazing. And I just watched a video, and it looks like the physics are pretty well done as well. The car ran into the side, and the tire just came right off. So um, it looks like this. The characters themselves look pretty. They look definitely CGI, but the cars they um,
Look really good.
look really really good. Um, so if that one's interesting to you, if you're looking for that one, you might want to wait a while that one comes down in price. Because that one will be out and it's a $60 game. The next one, this one's coming out for 3DS. I don't know how many people are hyped for this one. This one's Metroid Prime Federation Force. Yes, it does have the Metroid name in it, Metroid and Metroid Prime, but it doesn't have Samus in it. What we have here is you get a mech suit and you get to battle cooperatively with 3 other players, and you try to take out the space pirates. Uh, what you do get in the game is it looks like they're trying to make this more of an MMO where you have roles that you play. So you get to choose your loadout, you get to choose your powers, and all that kind of stuff, so that when you go in, you could be the DPS or the tank or the healer or what have you. So it looks like they're trying to make this a very cooperative game. The graphics they look decent for the 3DS. And it's set in the Metroid universe. I don't know if that's going to translate well in as it goes in game, but if you haven't been able to play Metroid and you've really been wanting to, then you may want to give this one a look. See. Let's see. Moving on, the next one we have is called Stardust Galaxy Warriors. This one is I think they. I'm trying to think. This is like a Galaga type game where it's a side scroller. It looks like they've gone 2.5D with this one. You can't move forward and back. It's just you have the side scroller. But you have 4 characters to choose from. Again, this one looks like they're trying to go for as much as they can, where you get to choose weapons, choose loadouts. You go into the game. You then get other primary, secondary power-up kind of thing. It also says it has a light touch of RPG mechanics. So I don't know if they have what sort of RPG mechanics they've got there. If you get to as you go along, increase your strength and stuff of your individual characters, but basically it looks like you're flying mechs. So if you've been wanting to do Robotech or Gundam Wing or something like that and have a flying robot suit and go take down bad
If you're
guys.
Japanese and you've been jonesing for a real hard mech game,
Yeah. This only has the flying, so there's none of this awkward running around on the ground in a mech type thing. So
uh-huh.
no battle mech, just just the Gundam in space kind of thing. Uh, Looks pretty fun. I do like the Galaga style games. I always have. Although this one character keeps swinging around a sword in the video, and I don't know how well that's going to work because I don't know that I want any bad guys getting that close to me. That's it for the games that are coming out this week. If you have a game that you wanted to see and it was coming out this week and I forgot about it, let me know. But
We will endeavor to address said issue.
yeah, I may not care too much, but whatever. Anyway, the to move on, like I said, we might look at games, and there are a couple games that or not a couple games, movies. We looked at the games. We're now looking at the movies. So, yeah, if I can keep my focus here. Anyway, Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur's coming out this Friday.
I'm tentatively looking forward to it. I love me some Roman action.
I watched.
However, I'm skeptical about this film.
I watched the original Charlton Heston Ben-Hur.
Great film. One of the best of all time.
Yes, it was a great film. And I think part of what made it so great was not the action sequences in it, but the character development and the plot and the story. This one looks like it's going for action. So, I watched the trailer for it. Supposedly it has the Ben-Hur story. I don't know. The original Ben-Hur movie with Charlton Heston, if I remember right, was a very long movie.
Yeah.
And so
long,
I don't know.
Especially for the time.
Yeah. So I don't know how this one's going to translate. It's got a PG-13 rating, so they didn't go into too much blood and gore.
I mean, it could be bad, but as long as there's like good-looking Roman armor and gladiator arenas, then I'm going to be pretty happy with it.
I think you'll be pleased.
I've seen the trailer. I got excited for it, but
yeah. See, I watched the trailer too, and I'm like, wow, that looks really, really good. I was kind of.
I honestly, and I love the actor, but I honestly don't care for Morgan Freeman's role in it.
Yeah, it did seem kind of odd that Morgan Freeman was in this one, but he's in everything. What was it? Oh, there was a part that I was watching in the trailer that made me kind of squeamish. He's on the boat and he's rowing, and they're like, we're gonna ram him, and then you look out through a gap in the ship, and there's another ship coming right towards them, and they've got a guy strapped to the front, and I'm like,
I don't know how historically accurate that is, but the Romans did suck.
Oh, yes, they did. When they put down Spartacus's rebellion, oh. They were impaling people for miles.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Romans
They'll do stuff just to make a point.
Yeah, we know about Vlad the Impaler, and people are like, "Oh, Vlad the Impaler, he impaled people." The Romans were worse than him. They made Vlad the Impaler look like a nice guy. If they did not like you, they went in, killed everyone, and salted the earth so that nothing could come back. They did that to Carthage.
When they took Carthage, yeah. Literally the point of salting the earth, if you don't know the reference, is so that nothing can grow in the place.
Yeah,
they were so pissed off that they're like, not only will we destroy everything you have, but make it so that nobody can live here again. Like, that's how douchey they are.
They literally took salt and plowed it into the ground so that nothing would grow.
They used to make people fight for their own amusement to the death.
Uh-huh.
They would put Christian slaves in the arena and then just watch them get eaten by lions.
Yeah.
If you ever see that Jesus fish or whatever, the symbol, you know where that comes from?
The loaves and the fishes.
Well, right, terminology, but the actual symbol comes from Roman times.
Oh, right.
The Christians would draw it on the wall so that you knew it was a safe place for Christians to go.
Yes, because
it was sort of a secret symbol for Christians.
They couldn't write a cross because they knew the cross.
They would know what it was.
Yeah. The fish, though, That was hidden. Another one that's coming out. This one looked interesting to me. It's a stop motion animation. It's Kubo and the Two Strings. Um,
Um, the film, yeah, it looks really good.
yeah.
I'm quite excited for it, and I've been watching a lot of children's movies lately.
Well,
I
the thing
watched
is
the Netflix film, The Little Prince,
uh huh. Oh,
recently.
right.
Really
Did you
good.
like that one?
It was really good. I really
I,
enjoyed
I
it.
was hoping that that one would be good because the Little Prince should be done well. It's a classic. It really is.
Yeah, it is a classic. My mother said she remembers reading it when she was in high school, but Little Prince was great. I think I mentioned this last week. It was something like Song of the Sea or something like that.
Yeah.
If you're looking for another really good children's movie that I just enjoy as adults, Nocturna is good as well.
Yeah.
Films that Disney should be doing, but they're just making garbage films.
Yeah. Very true. Kubo and the Two Strings. Evidently, Kubo has a. Where'd it go? I want to get this right. It's a shamisen. It's like a guitar. It's a Japanese guitar that they play with that funky pick, and evidently it's magical. And he teams up with Monkey and Beetle, and not Monkey King, just Monkey and Beetle, and they have to.
It's something about living up to his legacy and getting his father's armor or something like that.
Yeah, his father evidently was the greatest samurai warrior the world has ever known, and somehow he was disgraced and
What, Musashi or whatever his name is?
it
Who
just
is the greatest samurai warrior I've ever known?
it,
And
it
like
doesn't
people
give a
talk
name. It
about
just
Book
says
of the
his,
Five Rings, it's just a brilliant story of one of the greatest warriors. That guy was a scumbag. It's just he thought a lot about combat. I think the first guy he ever killed he was 14 years old or something like that.
there's
Guy
a
was not a good person.
So, for those of you who may or may not know, Rhett and I are LDS. LDS, we do proselytizing. We go out to other countries and stuff. I had a friend who went to Japan, and he came back with this scroll that had this samurai on it. And I forget what the samurai's name. It might be Musashi. But the guy would literally kill people and run away. And he was
Yeah.
really fast at drawing his sword and putting it back and then taking off.
One of his most legendary fights was against one of the greatest samurai warriors of his time, who carried, I can't remember the Japanese name for it, but basically katana, but it's longer.
Uh-huh.
Naginata, of course, isn't Naginata a spear then?
I think so, but I know what you're talking about.
The name is similar. I should know this. I've read a lot about it. But
It's like the one that Sephiroth has. That's just really ridiculous.
it's not that long, but yeah.
Right. It's not
similar concept, but there
Yeah.
were soldiers or at least samurai that carried a longer katana. And
It
what
was
he
for
did was
combating people on horses.
essentially what he did was, well, that's what spears were mostly for.
That too.
He challenged this guy
Uh huh.
to a fight.
Okay.
And they met on a beach, and the fight was supposed to take place on this beach. It'd be very ceremonial because this guy was very traditional. He spent a lot of time in some of the greatest sword fighting schools.
Uh huh.
And Musashi showed up with a oar that he sort of like fastened to look like sort of sharper on the end, and he made it really long, almost like he was mocking the other guy. He's like, "Oh, you have a long sword? I'm gonna have a really long sword." So he shows up with this sword, or basically just an oar, and the guy's all pissed off, and he keeps mocking him to try and make him more pissed off to sort of throw him off. And he's able to get the upper hand just right away in the fight because he's got so much more reach than he does, knock him out and then beat him senseless. And then that was it. That was his greatest battle that everybody talks about, one of the greatest samurai of all time. And he was basically a douche that beat one of their best sword fighters with an oar.
Yep.
Just beat
I
him to death
remember
with an oar. Stupid story.
The other movie that comes out, I don't know. It looks good. Don't know about much about the what I can tell you about it. It's Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15. I'm not sure how it dovetails into the Final Fantasy 15 video game, but it's the tagline I've seen is something about it starts here, something like that.
Huh.
So there's two kingdoms. One does magic, and the other is technologically based. And you have Nyx and his other soldiers, and they get invaded by Niflheim. They're trying to steal this crystal that provides magic or whatever. And anyway, okay. So the king is faced with an ultimatum. He has to marry his son, Prince Noctis, who's in Final Fantasy 15, to Princess Lunafreya of Niflheim. So it says she's held captive in Niflheim. So who knows? So it looks like this one is kind of a prequel, and maybe even kind of happening at the same time as the Final Fantasy 15 video game, but we'll have to see. The animation looks really good, very, very detailed, but who knows whether or not that'll be any good as far as translating into story goes. That being said, is there anything you want to go over as we kind of wind up this rambling who knows what?
Not specifically. I'm really bad at this game. This
I
game's
would probably suck.
depressing. It's super depressing.
I noticed you have some guy down there sleeping.
Yes, well, everybody's in degrees of sick and dying and not having food. And
So are you supposed to last a certain amount of time, or you just see how long you can last?
I don't know specifically how long it's supposed to last, but the idea is you're living in a city that's run down,
Right.
where there are no supplies, and it's basically trying to survive during the conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So at night, you usually send out a guy to go scavenge around and see if he can't find stuff. If you get good enough gear, you can build beds, you can build protection, you can get water, like reclamation stuff, you can build a way to grow your own food. But getting to that point is impossibly difficult. And everybody's usually either sick or wounded or hungry. Everybody's always hungry. There's nothing I can do about it. But it basically, my success is my potential every night of finding somebody or finding something.
And you can recruit more people, but that just puts a bigger burden on you to find more resources.
It's possible to find
right?
more people over time. Sometimes you get children, and they're such a drain on your resources.
Because you can't really send them out to do anything, right?
No, not really. And you do things like get cigarettes and coffee to sort of like coffee fixes the tired stat, and cigarettes sort of makes people feel better. And because it gets to the point where everybody's so flippin' depressed that all you're doing is going out and like getting resources so you can build like a radio just so people can listen to it because they're just so bummed out all the time.
Nice. Well, that's it for the DG podcast tonight. Hope you enjoyed the audio that we brought to you, and even if you've been following along here, some of the video, and if you're interested in any of the games, or if you end up playing them, let us know what you thought of them.
So we can get a small piece of the pie because we deserve it.
Yeah, that's it. And that's it for the DG podcast tonight. Hope you enjoyed hanging out with us. Later.
Have a good one. As I always slowly playing the jingle.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Distracted Gamers podcast. If you like the show, follow Rhett and Jason, the world's two most lethally stupid internet personalities, on Twitter @DG Podcast, or check them out at www.thedistractedgamers.com. If you loved or hated what you've heard here, email them at thedistractedgamers.blogspot.com and share your feelings. Not that Jason will care, since he hasn't any, of course.